It all commenced once I observed an antique replicate at a vintage shop. The proprietor warned me, "This replicate indicates glimpses of some other international." Intrigued, I offered it and hung it in my bedroom. That night, as I stared into it, my mirrored image appeared normal, however then. Something changed. The room at the back of me grew darker, colder. I blinked, and suddenly there has been a shadowy parent status simply at the back of me. I spun around, coronary heart pounding, however my room became empty. I grew to become again to the replicate, and the parent became gone. Shaken, I went to bed, however sleep failed to come easily. The subsequent night, the replicate known as to me again. This time, I became prepared. I sat in the front of it, waiting. Minutes passed, then the floor rippled. The room on the opposite aspect wasn't mine anymore. It became a darkish, twisted model of it. Fixtures in disarray, partitions protected in strange, darkish stains. And then, out of the shadows, the parent seemed again. Closer now, I ought to see its whole eyes, its mouth twisted in a silent scream. I gasped, stumbling again, and the imaginative and prescient vanished. The replicate confirmed handiest my pale, terrified face. Days went by, and I have become obsessed. Every night I watched the replicate, glimpsing extra of the opposite international. I noticed people, or matters, that had as soon as been people, wandering in that darkish realm. They appeared trapped, lost. One night I noticed a woman, her eyes pleading, urgent, her palms towards the glass as though begging for help. The subsequent day I determined to analyze the replicate's origins. I observed antique information of a craftsman who had made it centuries ago, reputed to dabble in darkish magic. They stated the replicate became a gateway, a portal to an international in which tortured souls had been imprisoned. One night as I watched, the parent with whole eyes became again, however, this time. It spoke. Its voice became a whisper, just like the rustling of useless leaves. "Join us." Terrified, I attempted to show away. However, I could not move. The glass commenced to shimmer, and suddenly I felt a chilly hand draw close my shoulder. I screamed, yanking unfastened and throwing a fabric over the replicate. The room fell silent, however I ought to nonetheless sense their eyes on me from the opposite aspect. The replicate is now locked away in my attic, however sometimes I listen whispers, calling me to appearance again. If you ever discover an antique replicate with an eerie shimmer, take into account this story. Don't appearance too long, or you would possibly see extra than you bargained for. Would you dare to appearance?